part 2 for our late IHP show with your 5D mystic as we continue our conversations on life partners, relationships, love, and when you do self-help and spiritual, and when you're on a 5D journey. So for a couple of minutes, I thought of talking about those lovely twin flames and soulmates. And then we'll move more towards just general. The part of why people have saga, and that's the 4D collective, is because of their 1-year-old and the person who doesn't own their brain, the mind, basically getting a minute overwhelmed. No, they're not overwhelmed. They actively can talk about it, because I've had people talk to me about it. They can actively allow themselves to work through what is structural dissociation, and to notice that what their emotions are speaking and what their thoughts are thinking, whatever it is they see, it's not an irrefutable truth. This is the one thing about the 4D mystics, is that they think that they know more about all these other people, including their twin flames, which is one of the reasons why they, started to do this saga, because they didn't know how to work with the thoughts that came up. But really what it is that we will pick up on our twin flame and flames. Snap and done. It's not even a snap and done, though. You're actively living by perceiving an entire other human being's unconscious. And so this is the part of what I have shared with my lovely 4D, which they didn't hear when I told them, you are not their unconscious. You're picking up on the sphere. It's a relational field. They are not allowing themselves to speak to you about it because they don't even know. Okay, so when you understand that that's your 1-year-old, and then the 3 to 7 is your unconscious, you can have access to it. It's through emotions. The first 3 years, very important, because those are without words. Okay, so as long as you don't know your attachment category, if you're a mystic, for example, that's going to be detrimental to you, because you want to be in a secure attachment category. You want to have a whole self. If your child parts are not yet whole, then you're going to be in a state that is of safety behavior, which is then going to be overwhelmed by you picking up on another person's unconscious, because that's all of their emotional stuff. Not to mention that we will pick up on each other. So some people are intuitively in their the feminine, by the way, comes up from the right. The right mode is what reads body language, but if you don't have the capacity to be self-reliant on your own sense of self and self-worth, well, we have an equation. You're going to get confused. Do you know that people that have personality disorders and childhood developmental trauma, they look at you with eyes that have trauma charges? So they will be good at picking up negative faces, but anything that's positive, they will not. They will think it's negative, or they will feel threatened. If it's neutral, they will think it's negative, or that they basically don't know what's going on, so they don't feel comfortable. They get the negative right because they were in a negative environment, which is why the way that they can move out of it is by acknowledging the psych education. If I have had childhood trauma, if I have had a trust break, if you speak of humanity as people you don't trust yourself either. That means there's emotions that are still hurt. I mean, there's a way that we can contemplate things, but the fact that people can give out a blanket statement, we can trust some people, we don't trust all people. Generalization, that cognitive style of thinking, is what actually studies have found keep people in PTSD. And I'm sure it's not only PTSD, but that they also will stay within these charges and then prance around like Braveheart with the ones that are the Peter Pans of the online world. So that's a side note. Okay, so yeah, the twin flame thing, you pick up on the unconscious, and then you pick up on other stuff too. It's really fabulous. So if I'm going to share all the emotions that come up, they're not unsustainable, but that's for a person who has a good relationship with emotions and who loves to live life. So if you don't love living life and you don't love emotions, you might have a very different way to handle this twin flame journey, which is why there's the 4D coaches for the people who have saga and drama. That's not love until you learn love. So when you're doing spirituality journey stuff with those people, are saying that's how you're going to get your twin flame back, what they're doing is helping you to learn how to use your left and your right, and how to uncharge that which are child parts of you. So you don't need to do something specific to begin to unfold, you're already unfolding by the minute. Your body keeps the score, the brain, the mind, keeps the count. You're the one who, narrative, emotions. So there's a narrative self, relational self, solo self, and core self. And you're the one who's going to be the interpreter. With life partners, you get to share all this stuff, and that's actively. So this is the other thing, whether it's a twin flame or soulmate, if you're not actively sharing feelings, and when a person is not completely vulnerable with you, so there are plenty of people that they don't know how to be their inner child adult. And for people who know how to love, that's not going to be love. We're not going to want a cold, emotionless, moody human being who doesn't know how to self-regulate, or at the very least become aware and say, I want to learn to self-regulate. Let's learn together. I want to learn to be a consistent communicator, consistently, contingently communicate my emotions, my thoughts, my everything with you. Building genuine relationships is this doesn't even have to be a twin flame or a soulmate. Oh, and when people, there are plenty of tarot readers who tell you not to go back to the past, which is very sad to see, because the thing is, every person can use a good therapist and get on track with their life. They don't have to do it anytime sooner or later. Every person's body will share what's next. Now, I do feel that some people could have gotten sooner to getting support, but we didn't have all of this psych education information. I got it from my educational courses, and now I'm seeing it online. And it's only been, though, the past year. That's why I know where we're at as the ascension scale keeps moving forward. And it's really great, because this is the part of where there's people who are healing, like the lovely narcissist lady with her sociopath boyfriend. They did a little short, and they're just pure love. They are the most amazing love that I got to see online, and they are doing work with a good therapist. And you can tell they love each other, because it's just the way that any people who, you remember when you were a kid, teenager, not child, and you began to have fun, even though I don't know what the generations are like now, but I had a lot of fun. I still think of my teenage years as fun years. I don't like the unkind teenagers, but I still had a good time, meaning that their unkindness was not something that I said, oh, I don't like them. No, it's actual low self-esteem, which for that age group is a part of our journey. So my point is, these two human beings, they are pure love. But that's because they're being their self with each other, and they're on a healing journey, and they're committed, they're motivated. And so they know that they don't want to use the split thinking, the black and white thinking, that which is rumination, the dark sides and negativity of neuroplasticity. They want to use their mind, and so the mindset is being supported by the person who wields their brain, but knowing about their self-lens is what helped them, and them being made human by the people who helped them, not those who are therapists online who they, one, make fun of us woo-woo spiritual and self-help people, not to mention some will actively be quite unnecessarily pointing out that we don't help, that we're not helpful. It's helpful to people who do emotions. It's helpful to you when you want to be yourself. It's helpful when you understand how deep you run and how you can have access to the entirety of your unconscious. If you want, you don't have to. You don't have to have access to your body, but it is your body and it's just your mind. So the psych education helps people to understand that no evil is within you. And there's a shame cycle. And so when you get the psych education, that's the moment you get to choose. My first 3 years of life, no way, Jose, that's not true. Okay, ciao Cusco, have fun. My first 16 years of life, no way, Jose. Yes, I'm so sorry, yes. Okay, so long story short, love is when you get to be yourself, and when we're all on a healing journey, and therefore we're all lovey-dovey, that's where it is, humanity. Nobody's broken, nobody needs fixing. No, people can heal trauma, it takes time and healthy self-worth, and healthy self-worth relationships. So being fearless and bold is not about talking trash at each other or about humanity. Love is all around. And the small things is tending to emotions with neutrality and duality, not negativity, not positivity. They're all here. You get to be the person who wields the sword by being in a beginner's mind and in the now. And that's with the inner growth mindset. If you'd like, you dream your world into being. Join us again tomorrow. And I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful evening and a lot of love.